Hey everyone, Tyler Burkhart here. And for all you managers for the Super Conference, before we get to the draft, I just wanted to let you know some of the league settings. And probably some of you are already laughing because the font here is backwards, and I realize that this is the quickest way for me on my Mac to get out videos. So I will read it to you, but for those that can read backwards, then this should be no problem. So I know I said earlier that there would be two conferences. However, after I started trying to do the schedule, I realized it would be easier to do 4 divisions. So kind of similar to how football does it, that's how we're going to do it. We have the AFC West or AFC East here with Brian Kleinschmidt, Evan Armstrong, Lucas Rank, and myself. The AFC West will be Aaron Middlestead, Kyle Armstrong, Nate Burkhart, and Michael Hemmert. The NFC East will consist of Adam Wirtz, Brian Edmondson, Chris Pollock, and Tyler Powell. And then finally, the NFC West will be Carson Christian, Josh Miller, Mark Johnson, and Tim Copeland. So those are the 4 conferences. How the playoffs will be held? Well, the best way to get into the playoffs is just to win your division. So we'll take the top 4 winners of all the divisions here. And then if you want to get in the playoffs as well, there will be 2 wild card positions, and that will be whatever your record holds. So, I mean, if there's one division where there's 3 teams that are 9-4, and let's say those are the next 2 best records at 9-4, even though they're in the same conference, both of those would be invited. I guess that just rewards a nice, strong conference. So, also, the rivals will stay intact. The only change that I made is because Lucas kind of wanted to be in the East because he wanted to be Kiln in Mississippi, where Favre is from. And Mike wanted to be in Fargo because that's where he's living. So I switched Lucas and Mike. And the only change in rivals then is Lucas and Aaron, you guys are now rivals. And Mike and Brian Kleinschmidt, you guys are now rivals. Otherwise, all the rivals are still in your conference, either in the AFC or NFC. So for instance, Nate, my brother, he's my rival. I'm in the East, he's in the West, but we're both in the AFC. So that's kind of where the rivalry thing will take place, and we will have a rivalry week still. But how the schedule will be is, first of all, you're going to play the division teams twice that's in your own division. So for instance, for myself, Lucas, Evan, and Brian Kleinschmidt, I'll be playing twice throughout the year. So that's 6 games. Then you're going to be playing the other teams in the same conference, so in the AFC or NFC. But if they're in the other division, you're going to play them once. For instance, for myself, I will then play Mike, Nate, Kyle, and Aaron 1 time throughout the season. So that's 4 additional games. So now we're up to 10. We need 3 more games. So therefore, for the final 3 games, we'll dip into the other conference. So, for example, I don't know if this is how it'd be, but I might play Chris, Carson, and Mark. Would be the 3 other random games I'll do. And so I'll randomize that then. So that's how the schedule of the playoff system will work for our league. The only other 2 things I really want to comment on, first is you're going to see a new feature that I decided to adopt. That was Adam Wirtz's idea, was with the waiver budget. You're going to see on the league that you have a budget of $100 throughout the year where you can get players off of waivers. If you remember a few years ago, the first thing that comes to my mind is Anquan Bolden, who week 1 had like 200 receiving yards, and everybody wanted him. So it's a fair system starting the first game of that week, so whether that's a Sunday, Saturday, or Thursday game, to that Tuesday, you can put in bids for these players that are on waivers. So, for example, let's say Jordy Nelson's on waivers, and I really want him. He has a huge week 1. Greg Jennings gets hurt. I don't know. I can go on the waiver wire and put, okay, I'm offering $5 for Jordy Nelson. And then if someone wants to go higher, they can bid 6 or 7 or whatever. And then whoever has the highest bid on that Tuesday night will get that player, and then that money will be taken out of your $100 budget. So it rewards managers for managing their budgets really well. Also, after that Tuesday, so starting that Wednesday, you can actually pick up players then, I believe, for free. So if you want to wait till then and pick up a player, you can certainly do that. The last thing that I want to say is, as far as trades, you can trade draft picks and also part of your budget. So if you're getting low at budget toward the end of the year, you can go to another manager and do a one-for-one swap, and if you want money involved, you can do that as well. Just make sure you make a note of that. There'll be a nice little twist for trading, and maybe make trading more beneficial to some managers. So you can certainly do that. As far as trading future draft picks, though, we can't necessarily say that right away. So we don't know if we're going to go to an auction draft or keep the regular draft for years to come. So we'll determine that later. But for right now, I can guarantee you that if you want to trade draft positions with people, or if you want to trade money as far as the budget, you can certainly do that as well. So that's totally up to you. Otherwise, that's all I got. We'll get started then with the order for the draft, and I wish you guys all the best. Game on.